here goes nothing. It's Saturday morning here. I just put a clock there. We'll see how long it takes, I suppose. But I don't want to rely on this stuff here to seal the tank. I want to rig up a way of pressure testing and making sure it's sealed before I put that crap in there. Because if it's not sealed, you pour that in, it doesn't seal it, you're going to take all that off. It's probably not easy to get it off. You've probably got to throw it in a fire or something, cut it back apart. I don't want to do that. Paper, you blow a hole bigger than what you've just welded every time. And I've only got to go all the way around and try and make it seal. Well, I've done from there, around here, to just there. There's the time. But I've gone over it heaps. I've gone right over it because it's just very hard to weld. But I'll probably wipe lead. I'm going to think of lead wiping over that once I grind it. That way I'll know it's sealed for sure. Anyway, I'll probably flip it around and do down this long side next. Pretty big gap there to fill. And there's a bit here where it went a bit weird with when I cut it. And I just got to deal with it. Well, that's from there down to here, around the corner a bit. So I've just got to do these ends now. I've gone over it 3 times. Forget about doing it neat because it's so easy to blow a hole. It's just ridiculous. Until it looks like after one go, I'll do that. I'll just keep going over it. Otherwise the bloody thing leaks. See that hole there? Just straight away you blow a hole. It's very, very hard to weld this shit. Not as hard as the car, but it's pretty hard. It's a little bit thicker than the car, this shit. Thank God. I would have made a new one if it was made out of the same shit as the car. It's actually a little bit thicker. Should do that bit, I think. I'll probably go over it once more. A little bit more there. Probably give it a little bit more in these areas, but I'm still covering this in lead. I just decided I'm not stuffing around with it. Nice and hot. I doubt if that would have much to do. Right, time's come to clean that up with the grinder. I'm not going to grind it way back so it looks, I'm just going to clean it up. Just realised I've got an old hard copy of this parts list. Pretty much one of the guys sent me that on the internet, but it's a copy of this. This is a proper book. I found this in it. It's a little identification tag thing. It's not really focusing on that as usual. That's pretty cool to have that. I'll put that on the car. It doesn't focus on it. Today, Sad Arvo. I've been working down here for 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was when I started. There's my lead wiping, some of the lead wiping stuff I've got. I'll be using these. But a little holder that holds these rollers, all different types, and you just roll it. Anyway, I don't know where that holder thing's gone. I haven't used this stuff for ages. But, I'll be using it tomorrow. I've just painted that rust converter here because this part here had a little bit of rust on it. So it's completely clean, but I just painted over the whole thing because we get flash rust instantly here. Like if I come back down tomorrow, that'll have surface rust on it. All right, I'm calling it a day. I reckon I've got to figure out a way of pressure testing this. I reckon that's 100% sealed anyway. I know this is sealed, but yeah, I just put bog on there before, but I just decided I'm just going to put lead there. Why should I put bog? Anyway, that's it for now. I'm just going over that. That's leaking at the moment. I'm going to have to make a better gasket and put some glue there when I glue that on. It's got a little leak here. That's the first one. There's one there. So for starters, I've got to fix those two. Looks pretty good. This side here is all good. I've already done down here, so this is good. It's that hissing's coming from there. I just made a quick gasket last night. I've got to make a cork one. But this side's all good. The reason why, like it comes with this, but they put on some weird fitting that you never use. Like in Australia, we use Nitto fittings, which is That's the most common fitting in Australia, but the way these clowns put this together, they put that together with stuff, and I can't get that out. They've put another thread thing in there so they can put this stupid thin thing on there. I thought I had that until I saw Chris Ellis's video and I realised, yeah, I got one of those. Anyway, this side of the tank's sealed, that's good. I'll test the rest of it. Got one of these somewhere, I just can't find it. The thing was lying around on the bench for ages and I put it somewhere. So what you can do is just leave it hooked up and then just turn it off with that valve. But I'm just running over, turning it off at the wall there. But I did find a little hole here actually, so this side here, I'm going to retest it, should be done. And then I'll go down the other two sides. I better check all the undersides. I found a little leak. See where I put that line? I didn't even weld there. That hasn't even been welded. So I will check the whole underside. I'll just fill that. I was checking this side here. And the bubble came out underneath. Anyway, that's all good under there where I've welded. I've just got to fix there. Still leaking. See what happens? That was right down the corner, but it just blew a big hole. I'm tracing it up here now, so there's a little bit more leak there. And I'll sort it out. I've checked the whole underside. That's the only bit that's leaking there. Got a leak there. You can see. Already. Found another little pinhole just here. Right. There's another one there, and there's one here. See, it doesn't even look like there's anything there. As soon as I hit that with the MIG, that's going to just blow a big hole. So they'll take a bit of sealing that. I could just pour sealer in there, but I'd rather do it this way, and then put the sealer. Just a minute pinhole here. I thought this underside was good, but I didn't check it, so you got to check it. So I'll clean that, mark it, weld that, and it's good to put the sealer inside it. Okay, the tank's 100% sealed now. I put a bit of a dab there, but it didn't really need it. What I'm going to do is grind this all up and then recheck it. And then I'll decide what I'm going to do. But it's definitely ready to have that stuff poured inside it. That's getting done today. Right, this thing's finally holding air. Took me a while. I just had to leave that like that. Every time I ground it down, it leaked. This gauge, I don't know what's going on with this gauge, but that thing's airtight. Just using that stuff there, whatever it's called, that flux stuff. Normally I just use Baker's soldering fluid. Just got a bit of a fan there blowing this stuff away, and I'd normally use denim, but I really need 2 amps for this. What you do is you heat it up and you just wipe it with a rag. Well, that's tinned good enough. I'm really only putting lead here, 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 and here, and here, in these spots. Now I'll just give it a hit with some Terps. Then I'll just heat some of that stuff up, bang it on there and just squash it down. That's all you do. There's that bit there, you just smear that with that. Put the little round one fits in there like that. That's it, that's done. I'm going to actually file that off and just whack a bit of Nicky over the top of it. I'll just do here next. I'll try and film some of it. It's not like the panel that's only underneath the fuel tank. I'm just doing it like that. There's a bit more. rattles a little bit. What's going on with this thing? Needs a bit of a sand. That'll do that bit. That's the idea of it. I'm just going to do the same here and here. That's done. I might put a bit here. If you don't tin it right, it doesn't stick. I hope you can see that. Probably not. I'll do this bit. Just a little bit of extra seal, like the tank's sealed. Just makes it feel a bit better. Good enough for now. Like I said, it's just getting bogged over anyway. When you bog over this stuff, you've got to prime it. You can't just bog straight over it. Give that a quick tin. I'm going to put a little bit in there. There's a bit. I'll probably do a little bit there. I think that's it. There might be something, one other bit. But that's all I want. That's how I want it. I just wanted to fill that in, and then I'm going to put some bog over it. You don't even need that, that's the bottom, but I'm going to. There's those few bits there I've put it, just there. That's fine, that can never come off. Anyway, that'll come off if you throw that in the fire, or you use a blowtorch. So what I'm going to do is quickly wash that with some of this stuff and some water. And then I'm just going to brush some primer on that, and I'm going to go over it with filler tomorrow. And I want to get this stuff poured in the tank today. So I'm running out of time. Today's Sunday, it's Mother's Day. I've been here most of the day. Right, in that tank, spotless. Just about to pour the stuff in there. Right, I'm tumbling this tank all round, getting it into the seams, right? It is fairly wasteful, like that's, I don't know, it's about a fifth full, but you can't expect to put 500 mils of paint on the inside of that tank. I just bought that because I didn't want to run out. It is a bit wasteful. You just let that dry like that. You can't reuse it. I don't know why, but they say that on the thing. The worst thing you can do is let the stuff dry on these threads and where the fuel comes in, because that will block that pipe. So I've been clearing it out with this, making sure it's clear. You don't want it to dry there. It will fill that up. Now, it'd be nice, but this is all covered and it doesn't leak. That's why I want to make sure it doesn't leak before I put that stuff in. I'm pretty happy with it. It's nearly 3 o'clock Sunday, Harvey. So I've had enough. I've put a lot of time into this tank, but it's going to turn out good. I'm going to give it a coat of bog, so it looks neat, and I'll paint it black. Yep. Fuel tanks come out awesome inside. There's that paint there. It's set hard. So that's why you got to read what's on the instructions. It's right to try to paint that, and then the next day, you never know. It might have went off. I don't want to take a risk with the thing like this because it's so much hassle to fix it. If you ever want to seal a fuel tank, that little thing there, that's a thing where your dishwasher goes into your drain pipe. If you want to remove it, that actually fits on there really good. Seals airtight. I'm just sealing it up. I'll put this back on, and I'm going to put something there because I'm going to be making a bit of dust today, and I don't want any to go in there. I'll film inside the tank later this Harvey. On S600 fuel tank in perfect condition. Fully leak tested, rebuilt. That's about a week's work I've put in that. You get that done in a panel shop, that's $4 grand easy to fix that one fuel tank. And it's still not painted, but I should be able to knock that over in 2 hours and install it. That is a big job, Wow. Anyway, got no choice. We need one, and now I know I've got a good fuel tank. It doesn't leak, and it's clean. It's clean as a whistle. Today's Monday. I'm hoping to get it painted on Wednesday. Won't be painting it tomorrow. Yep. Tomorrow I paint that. Sorry. Wednesday I paint that black. Today it's Monday today. Monday Harvey. Late. I've just got to make a float for this fuel sender. So what I've done, I've made a little cap for there. That's just a really tight fit. I may weld it on. It depends. If it doesn't take on water, I won't have to. So I've just got to make one more for this end. So what I'll do first is face that off. Have to really look that good. That just goes inside at that bit, so just face it off. What I'll do next, I'll just have to change the angle of the tool. What I'll do next is cut a little groove so it sits into that pipe. Take it slow. Try that. Probably needs more. Yeah, it needs more. Go too far, then I'll have to weld it. If it's a real tight fit, it won't take on more fuel, and I won't have to weld the bloody thing. Let's go a bit at a time. Still needs more. Probably still needs more. That's pretty close actually. I think I can smash that on. I'll just put this down for a sec. I've got to put on the parting off tool next. Anyway, just got to part this off. I'll finish the rest off with a hacksaw. Just face this off. Bring it back a bit. It's a bit close. Doesn't have to be anything too flash, it's just going inside a petrol tank. That's done. Right, there's my float. I'm going to attach to this thing somehow. I haven't figured out how I'm going to actually do that yet. But probably it's going to go something like that, and that goes in there. But what I'm going to do is throw that in a bucket and see if it's still floating in the morning. But that's enough for today. If it floats good, hold it under there. There's no bubbles coming out of it, so that's watertight. I don't even have to weld that. Pops up, perfect. One float. Is that all sanded? Man, that's not an easy thing to sand down. Not easy on the back. And there's the fuel tank done. Just got to give it one more coat. Perfectly fine. Turned out really good actually. That's the top there. You actually only see this section. See a bit of that if you stick your head in there. And you see under here. You can see that. Pretty much don't see the rest, but I still like it to look good. Well, I'm finding it hard to come up with a way to attach that steel to the aluminium float. So what I'm going to do is bore this out so it just fits over that. I'm going to weld that to the steel thing, and then I'm going to get a little grub screw and hold that onto the float. Sure that makes perfect sense. Well, I don't have that many big bits. This one's 19.5. Well, it might be 19. It's not 20.5. That's my biggest bit. So I'll drill it out with that. A bit of this stuff on it. Drill it out with that, and then I'll bore it so it fits the size. And like I said, I'm going to drill a little hole and put a grub screw there. Should have a grub screw somewhere. And that, I might even put two. And that'll hold it in position. Getting there. Never said it was easy. I tried making one of them out of steel, it wouldn't float. Buggery. Let's use aluminium. Right, there's the 19 mil. I'll go over the 20.5 now. 20.5, that's the biggest bit I've got. A bit more of that on it. Keep it cool. Could use coolant, but it makes too much mess. Like coolant comes out of that. I only use it when I really have to. Which isn't much. Alright, there's that 20.5. That's set at the depth I want, the size, so it just fits on this pipe. I'm going to cut it to length. I'm going to make it. First I'm going to thin it down. I don't need it that thick. Well, I can just fit that pipe in there. It's a pretty tight fit. Oh, should be able to whack it through with a hammer. I don't want a loose fit. There's my float attached to the sender. It's the only way I could come up with to attach that to aluminium to steel. That'll work fine. It does float. I've tested it, but I've put Loctite on the ends just to double seal it. Save me welding that. All I've got to do is make a cork gasket, which I'll get some cork tomorrow or something. Right, there's the strap. I've bought some tank strap rubber, and that's coming on eBay. Then I'll install it. I've made that seal there. That's where the tank squashes down and it seals to the floor. That's ready to go. It's a fuel tank. I don't know if it comes up very good on the picture here, but it's just a fuel tank. You know, it's actually quite good. I'm very happy with it. So I will install that when I get this tank strap rubber, and I'm waiting on the fuel line to come too. I'm going to make a brand new fuel line for it. Anyway, I'm going to call that and make that in the next videos I'll be making. We'll be back on this. I've done that fuel tank now. That's finished. I do have one or two concerns with this engine, and we'll just see what happens as it pans out. I may make new studs. I don't want to, but you know, I just feel that 18 pounds, I'm not doing 18 pounds, I'm going to be doing 21, but I even feel that's not much. I'd like to see, you know, realistically, I'd like to make new studs and set it at a lot higher than even 21 pounds. I'd like to see it up around 40. I don't see why not. It's a high revving engine. It should have a pretty high tense, you know, for the head pressure. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Thanks for that.